Hi everyone, I'm Scott Hoke. Welcome to highlights of our coverage of the Mecum Houston auction from the NRG Center. Okay, here is one from 1955, sort of. This is totally customized here.
It is, and they've done a great job in replicating the 1954 Corvette Nomad show car that was going around that eventually went into production in 55, but not on the Corvette platform, but on the Bel Air platform.
Right, I remember, yeah.
But full custom build, 350 horse, fuel injected 350, automatic transmission, love the colors, high build quality. This is really a nifty, not authentic in any way, but really channeling what was going on back in the GM Motorama days.
Well, you might remember the Pontiac Bonneville, another concept car that was similar to the Corvette.
In 54, right? Yeah, I do.
We're in at 130.
Now 135.
Now we're out. We got to be 140 unless you want to be 150 and try to knock him out.
Phone and the internet are bad.
Want to be 150?
150. 140 now. No, 150.
Yep, we got
All right, there we go. $170,000 for a very well done custom Corvette Nomad concept. 70 years ago, the 1953 Corvette debuted to a kind of a rocky start. 300 were built in the first year. Thank goodness they decided to keep it going. It took them a few years to kind of gain some momentum. That having said, these early Corvettes are coveted by collectors big time.
So $170,000, $170,000, Gus on the phone.
58 Pontiac Bonneville Convertible.
You know, I think that we can sort of put to rest any thought that 1950s cars in general have sort of reached their value peak. Not true. A whole new generation of enthusiasts is embracing these wild designs, including the 58 Bonneville. This was top of the line for Pontiac in 1958. A one-year only displacement. That was 370 cubic inches, and with the optional 3.2 barrel setup, putting out a pretty stout for the time period, 300 horsepower.
So $175,000. So $175,000.
It is Hemi time in Houston with a 1970 real deal Hemi Cuda on the block here, guys, selling as part of this Horton collection at no reserve.
368 automatic transmission Hemi Cuda hardtops were built in 1970. As Chris Jacobs pointed out earlier, that unique K5 burnt orange paint, the black hockey stripes with the elastomeric body-colored bumpers, front and rear. Shaker hood with Hemi Cuda on it.
Boy, when the wild, crazy colors of the 1960s went out, they went out, didn't they? I mean, they went as earth tone, deep, bland as you could possibly get. And all was like a 2-year transition period.
I wish I was in the dealer's office with the original buyer when he made the decision to check that dual side mirror chrome option. I mean, that's an outside the box thinking for sure.
Yeah, now mirrors on both sides are standard equipment, but not true back then.
I think I'd like to buy that and build a replica of the Rapid Transit System Cuda show car. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that Hemi Cuda just sold for $180,000.
Here is another split window coupe from 1963.
Well, we've got another fuel-injected car, but not a Z06. So this is going to, again, a lot like the Big Break 62 fueling versus the regular fueling in 62. We should see a price difference. This should be lower. Silver blue with a dark blue interior. We see the 4-speed transmission. See that vertically mounted AM radio. Full wheel covers with the white wall tires, giving it the period look. And the fuel injection, proudly displayed with the front fender badges. You know, and as we're getting those great camera views, is there any automobile out there today or from the yesteryear that has got the presence and the design of an early Corvette, C2 Corvette? I'm going to say no.
It is a 1970 Barracuda that has been heavily modified and customized, and we're going to go full tilt pro touring boogie here, JK.
Well said, yeah. Kenny Bell supercharged 6.1 liter Hemi, that's 372 cubic inches, by the way, putting out 610 horsepower. They've gone with that Viper style 6-speed manual transmission with a pistol grip shifter.
Look at that.
Look at the quality of the engine compartment. The paint, the polish, just everything done to a very high pro standard. They've gone with a 4-link rear suspension with adjustable coilover shocks, Willwood, big disc brakes front and rear, vintage air conditioning, power windows in there as well. We're at 170,000 and 175 and still climbing.
Keep in mind, too, this is a Barracuda, so originally it would have had something less than a 340.
Probably was a 318 to begin with.
Yeah. Look at this. You were right, John.
Oh, yeah.
No budget here, $195,000 here in Houston. 1966 Shelby GT350, not a replica, Professor.
Not at all, Scott. Love it by any standard. By 66, the second year of the GT350, they toned it down a little bit. They made it a little bit more streetable, but this one takes it to a different level. Check out that bonnet where the air cleaner would normally be, and look forward of it to that blue, we'll call it a device. That's the belt-driven Paxton supercharger.
$200,000 is the mark. Okay, here's a big car next. 1963 split window coupe Z06. We had one of these in Glendale, John.
Welcome to the big time, especially when we start getting into the first of the C2s, especially in the coupe, debut for the coupe. Looking at right there, that 360 horsepower 327, again, carried over from 1962. So bidders in the house, bidders on the telephone. We'll be seeing a lot of, on these Corvettes, we'll be seeing a lot of absentee bidding, both on the internet and on telephone. In fact, the internet is in right now at 225, I believe.
Sold 235, sold $235,000 back its way.
Now I'll bring in.
As you see, Matt Morveck hammers this. Z06 split window coupe, $235,000. Okay, check this next car out. You want to talk about earth-shattering, spectacular, maybe one of the best in the world, John?
Well, we could very well see a world record for a stock restored 1957 Chevrolet hardtop. Here it is.
Oh my goodness.
Reserves off, and we're at $250,000. Known as the Lakewood 57.
The bid right now has just eclipsed hit $250,000 and going up.
And the parade of great varied entries from the Horton Classic Car Museum collection continues. This is one of the stars of the collection, particularly if you consider a performance car, and especially a performance pony car.
We tend to look at these in a modern context as collector cars, but the Boss series was intended to go racing. Both of them, an SCCA Trans Am for the Boss 302 and NASCAR with this. It was all about the engines. That was the context.
Well, right now, at this very moment, it's all about the Hammer at $295,000. Guys, that is our #1 selling car of this auction to this point, $295,000. That'll do it for this edition of Mecum Accelerated. We thank you so much for watching. I'm Scott Hoke. Until next time, so long, everyone.